It was a hot July afternoon in Atlanta, Georgia. Dr. Vanessa Carter had just finished a grueling 12-hour shift at Grady Memorial Hospital. She was exhausted, running on fumes, and eager to get home. But what should have been a routine drive turned into a nightmare. As she rolled to a stop at a red light, flashing blue lights appeared in her rearview mirror. A police cruiser. Confused, she pulled over. Officer Daniel Briggs approached. Tall, stocky, late 40s, his hand rested on his holster. License and registration. Vanessa complied. No sudden moves, just like her parents taught her. But something felt off. His expression? Cold, dismissive. Like she had already done something wrong. Briggs squinted at her license, his lip curled. "Dr. Carter, huh? Where'd you steal this?" Her stomach dropped. "Excuse me?" "You heard me," he snapped. "A black woman driving a 2023 Mercedes. You expect me to believe you're a doctor?" Vanessa's hands tightened on the wheel. She had spent years earning her title, survived medical school, residency, and now this? "I don't have to prove anything to you," she said firmly. That's when it happened. Hard, fast, stunning. His palm cracked across her cheek. Her ears rang. Pain burned across her face. She gasped, shocked, humiliated, enraged. The world slowed. She could hear her own pulse pounding, the distant hum of traffic, Briggs breathing heavily, like he had just done something satisfying. Then he smirked. "Mouthy little thing, aren't you?" Vanessa felt her fingers tremble as she reached for her phone. Briggs was already yanking the car door open. "Step out," he ordered. "Now." She didn't move. "I want your badge number." That smirk vanished. "Get out." She hit dial. Her husband picked up instantly. "Vanessa," her voice shook. "I need you here. Now." Briggs yanked her out of the car, but before he could shove her against the hood, another car screeched to a halt behind them. A black SUV. The door flew open. Out stepped a man in full military uniform. Broad shoulders, chest full of medals, silver insignia gleaming in the sun. Brigadier General Marcus Carter, Vanessa's husband. Briggs's face drained of color. His grip on Vanessa loosened. His jaw tightened. General Carter's voice was calm, deadly. "What exactly do you think you're doing, officer?" Silence. Briggs stepped back, opened his mouth, closed it. He suddenly looked very, very small. Marcus took a step forward. "I asked you a question." Vanessa could feel the shift in power, the fear creeping into Briggs's expression, the realization that he had just slapped the wife of a high-ranking U.S. Army officer. But it wasn't over yet, because at that moment, a second police cruiser pulled up. And the officer who stepped out, he wasn't looking at Vanessa. He was staring at General Carter. And the look in his eyes wasn't fear. It was recognition. The new officer, Lieutenant Charles Denton, strode forward, gaze locked onto General Carter. "Sir?" His voice was tense, controlled. Briggs glanced between them, confusion flickering across his face. "You know this guy." Denton ignored him. "General Carter, I suggest we handle this carefully." Briggs scoffed. "Carefully?" This woman was resisting. Denton cut him off. "Shut up, Briggs." His voice was sharp and authoritative. He turned back to Marcus. "Sir, does she need medical assistance?" Marcus's jaw clenched. "She needs justice." Denton let out a slow breath. "We need to talk, somewhere private." Marcus hesitated, then nodded. "Fine." Vanessa, still reeling from the slap, clutched her throbbing cheek. What the hell is going on? Denton gestured toward the SUV. Not here. Briggs exploded. Are you kidding me? I had probable cause. She was... Denton turned to him with a steely glare. You just assaulted a decorated army general's wife. Do you have any idea what you've done? Briggs's face paled. Marcus took Vanessa's hand, leading her to the SUV. Denton followed. Inside, he shut the door and exhaled. Then, he dropped the bombshell. Briggs isn't just a racist cop, Denton said. He's part of something bigger. Something we've been investigating for months. Vanessa frowned. What? Marcus stiffened. Go on. Denton's voice was low. Briggs is connected to an underground network of corrupt officers. They target people of color. False arrests, unjustified stops, violence, and worse. Vanessa's stomach turned. Worse. Denton's expression darkened. Some of their victims disappear. Silence filled the SUV. The weight of his words hung heavy in the air. Marcus's hands curled into fists. You're telling me this isn't just about my wife? Denton shook his head. No, sir. She wasn't random. They knew exactly who she was. Vanessa's breath hitched. Why? Denton hesitated, then pulled a small flash drive from his pocket. Because you're a doctor at Grady Memorial, and Grady has been treating victims of their operation. Marcus took the drive, eyes narrowing. What's on this? Evidence, Denton said. Names, dates, places. If you want justice for your wife, hell for everyone, they need to be exposed. Vanessa shivered. This was bigger than her, bigger than Briggs. Marcus studied Denton for a long moment. And what happens if we go public? Denton exhaled. Then you better be ready for war. Marcus didn't hesitate. Then war is what they'll get. Denton handed him a burner phone. We'll coordinate from here, but listen, this goes deep. Higher than Briggs, higher than the department. Vanessa's hands trembled. How high? Denton met her eyes. City officials, judges, even senators. Marcus nodded. Then we take them all down. Hours later, footage of Briggs slapping Vanessa leaked online. Then, the files from the flash drive. The city exploded. Protests, investigations, indictments. Briggs arrested. The police chief resigned. Several high-ranking officials exposed. Justice wasn't instant, but it was coming. Vanessa stood beside Marcus as the press swarmed. Are you afraid? One reporter asked her. She looked straight into the camera. No, because this time they fought back and won.